What in the fuck?
Hello?
Why them?
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Why are the mics still on?
It shouldn't. Yeah, it's an open room, so it shouldn't ask you. It normally asks for permission for like your phone and your microphone and camera, and then there should be like a. Is there another button that you can click on there?
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. Come on, step it off, break it down and lose it. Come on, follow us to the new revolution. That this battle I am never losing. I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises. I'm cruising through these haters, leave them looking stupid. They foolish if they think they'll ever hear my conclusion. I'm through with all these my dramas and their excuses. I'm bruising eagles left and right every time I do this. I'm shooting for the top, no I'll never settle where you did. The future's in my hands, my grip will never loosen. My crew is ready to obtain the absolution, removing any doubt that we was ever fooling.
shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time for Still Toking With. We have a kick-ass show scheduled for you tonight. And as always, by the way, my name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard.
Right off the start, right into the wall. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Oh, man.
Jeffrey.
What's up? What's going on out there? Everybody having fun? Good day?
The hell was that?
He reverted back to the 90s, you know?
I was like, wait, what?
Well, I think I got
What?
that voice from, who's that? Who's the dude at Higher Education on the stage there? What's up?
Oh,
Trip.
Yeah, no. That was like a Budweiser's commercial during the 90s. And it's for some reason it's making a comeback.
Those were funny, though. I'm sorry. The frogs, you know.
Oh yeah, love the
those were
frogs.
funny. I'll give him that.
So
All right, enough about that. But Leo,
yeah, I'm gonna steal Jeffrey's thunder here and introduce our guest because we have a awesome intro for him, and I don't trust Jeffrey's reading abilities.
Really? Well. No, I mean, I'm more of a writer than a reader. I read, but speaking that can be difficult sometimes.
I love you. I'm just messing with you.
I know you are, Leo.
Tonight's guest, in the last 5 years, he has presented to over 700,000 people from all walks of life around the world. He has spoken to corporates from all backgrounds, troops in Iraq, elite athletes across the globe, and through his numerous charities, has given hope and strength to many people facing life-threatening illnesses. Despite spending nearly a quarter of his life in hospital, which is crazy, he has forged a highly successful career in the corporate world, represented Australia in his chosen sport, and featured regularly across all forms of media. He also runs a school, an orphanage in Haiti, and has been presented with the Australia Day Ambassador role for 8 consecutive years. The award-winning documentary on his life by ABC's Australian Story has been viewed by over 4 million people. His first tell-all autobiography is now a bestseller across 6 different countries. And in 2020, he featured on MTV's funny show Ridiculousness in the USA with over 6 million viewers and was one of the Queen's baton bearers for the Commonwealth Games. He has shared the stage with the likes of Sir Richard Branson, the Dalai Lama, and a video of him speaking in LA has been viewed by more than 82 million people. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Jump up and down for the most awesome Michael Crossland. How's it going, sir?
G'day, boys.
How you doing, Mike?
Awesome. Thanks for the intro, man. The music has got me going. I'm all pumped up and ready to go. And I love the fact that, Jeff, you can't read. You're just energized to be here, brother. I am excited to be on the journey with you, boys.
I really can read, but I would have screwed that up really bad. And Leo knows that.
yeah. That's why we have Leo.
If my wife was in here, brother, she like that intro like certainly pumped my tires up. She's like a dart. If she heard that, she'd have just come in and just deflated me in a heartbeat, brought me right back to earth, mate. I promise that. And it's funny because it's nighttime over there and it's morning here. I've just got out of bed, did my routine, got my exercise on, got ready for the day, set up the studio, and you guys are ready to have a chat and go to bed. So, maybe Jeff, you're probably ready to have a few beers and then go to bed. But Leo and Ben, I'm sure you're going to be out cold soon.
No. I'm going to be up for normally Wednesdays. I'm up till about 2 a.m. So it's Wednesdays is a long night for me. But what's very cool is you're coming to us from the future, right?
Yes,
how it works?
it's Thursday morning over here, so I can tell you what the stocks are going to do. No, I got no idea about stocks. That's boring as that shit. I'm not going to talk about stocks, I tell you.
I only care about Dogecoin. That's
Oh, jeez.
Well, we only have Michael for about 45 to 50 minutes, guys. So, okay, we can talk about Dogecoin or Dogcoin or whatever later. but in that intro that Leo just had, you were on ridiculousness, and I am just one of those people on a Saturday morning. I don't want to get dressed. I flipped on the TV. I saw the intro of you on ridiculousness. I watched the show, and I instantly had to get up, go downstairs, which I generally don't do on Saturdays, but I did. And I looked you up, and I was like, wow, what a story. I got on the horn with Leo and Jeff. I said, we got to get this guy on the show, man. So, but welcome to the show, Michael. And thank you for coming, getting up early and joining us.
Mate, it's my pleasure. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I am very much just an ordinary, humble Australian man who's certainly faced my fair share of adversities, and now very privileged to try and inspire people from all walks of life around the world to realize that regardless of the challenges that we all go through, we all have a story, we all have pain. I really think it's about how we deal with that pain that allows us to live a great life. And for me now, even though I'm in lockdown, I was in lockdown last year for 7 months, and this year we're back in it. We've been locked down for another 3 months, can't leave the house. But, I'm just so grateful that I am in an opportunity or a mindset to be able to just count my blessings and not my problems. Because, if you think your life's shit, then it's shit. If you think your life's great, regardless of if it's shit, it's great because you tell yourself that it's great.
Perspective.
Well,
amen to that.
It's all about perspective.
Wow.
I had an opportunity this afternoon to I hopped on YouTube and I watched a couple of they were short video clips of some of your appearances that you've done, and I want to say that I got inspired. I cried. It was very emotional. Then it kind of gave me a new perspective on certain things that I've been dealing with in the last couple of years. So I wanted to thank you for that.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you for sharing that.
Same here. I watched your videos as well, but I subscribed to your YouTube, but your Instagram, I fell in love. It's just your inspirational quotes. Let me find the one that hit me. They're all incredible.
Hey, Leo, I can actually see your monitor tonight.
You can, yeah.
You moved your camera.
I can see my ugly head. I can see my ugly head on your screen, which is weird, Leo. So if you want to just re-anchor it, brilliant. That'd be really cool. That's the worst part about doing presentations around the world from home is that, if I'm Zooming, I did a gig last week in China. There was 3,000 people on. I presented to myself, looking at myself for 90 minutes. I was like, man, and you get through a hard story and then you're like, man, I've got so many wrinkles and my nose got toasted. Yes. Oh, where was I? It's crazy how you just get so zoned in. But Leo, sorry, back to you, mate. Otherwise, I'm gonna get my story out. I'm going to have to get off here.
Oh, no. There was one about happiness, and it's not coming up right away. It must have been further down. But excuses or adjustments, it's your choice. A lot of us can, if things aren't going our ways, we can just, make excuses, or you just. How do you take that? Do you just grab the bull by the horns and just figure out what to do for today, or
I think Jeff said it perfectly before. It's all about perspective, right? One of the greatest sayings that I live my life by is I cry when I didn't get a new pair of shoes until I saw a boy that had no feet. We all have pain, and the depth of our pain, varies from day to day, week to week, situations to situations. But it's really about what our coping mechanisms are that allows us to live a great life. As mentioned in the intro, I've spent a quarter of my life in hospital. I've certainly been to hell and back many times and continue to go to that place. But if you believe that your life is not fair because you're stuck in traffic and you don't have the emotional tools to be able to get through that, then your battles are just as hard as mine. And I think that, as Jeff said, perspective is the key to happiness. When you can step out of your own shoes and look at life through somebody else's eyes, and I'm sure that's what we're going to get through today is giving people the gift and the ability to reflect on their own journey and their own challenges and realize how lucky they are to have what they have.
Right.
Absolutely.
The little story that you told about the little boy who just wanted to play ball with his dad, that really hit home for me.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I reflect on it because my dad taught me beautifully how not to be a dad. He taught me how not to be a husband. He taught me how not to be a man. And I think so often in life we strive to admire traits in others that we can implement in our lives, yet we rarely identify traits in others that we do not want to implement. And I love the story about the twin boys, and they're 20 years old, and one's an athlete and one's an alcoholic, and their dad's an abusive alcoholic, and they interview the alcoholic twin and say, hey, why do you drink so much? And he says, oh, the reason why I drink so much and I'm an alcoholic is because I watched my dad growing up. And then they spoke to the athlete who's never drunk and said, hey, you don't drink, you're an athlete. Why is that? And he says, oh, I don't drink and I'm an athlete because I watched my dad growing up. It's just, we all walk down the same path. We're all going to end up in the same place. It's just about what we choose to implement and the way we look at our challenges every single day. And that story about the little boy, just in a very quick nutshell for those that are listening that don't know the story or haven't heard the YouTube video, but basically it's a boy that wanted to play catch with his dad. And his dad said, no, I'm busy. And eventually the little boy said, hey, Daddy, how much money do you earn an hour? And the daddy said, I earn $50 an hour. And 2 months later, the little boy comes back in, knocks on Daddy's door and says, hey, Daddy, over the last 2 months, I've been mowing lawns, pruning trees, done every single chore that my mum has asked of me, and I've been able to raise $25. Daddy, if I give you this $25, is there any chance that I could just have half an hour of your time, and could we please go and play catch? And, I think so often in life we wait until it's too late before we decide to change. We wait until we're diagnosed with, lung cancer before we stop smoking. We wait until we lose someone that we love before we tell them that we love them. I challenge everybody listening, and the boys, I challenge all of you tonight. Just text somebody and say, hey, I care about you. I love you. Thank you for being a great friend. And I guarantee you, I know what they'll write back. It'll be 2 words and a question mark. They'll write back, what's wrong? They will dead set think that you are dying. You've lost your job. You're stoned off your face. You're drunk. Like we don't tell people what they mean to us until it's too late. And, I really challenge people. I make sure that, my family know how much they mean to me every single day. I never want anybody to doubt the relationship that I have with them, because there may be a time where I don't wake up, and I want to make sure from now until that day, as that old saying is, on your birthstone or your death stone at your cemetery, it's the day you were born and the day you die. It's all about the dash in the middle, what we do in that dash that ultimately determines the quality of life that we get to live.
Wow. That's so friggin' powerful.
Leo.
Yeah.
Where can our viewers and listeners find out more about our amazing guest?
Well, the cool thing is, you don't need to remember anything we say tonight. Just, take it all in, and but check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. You'll find the links for us, but more importantly, all the links for Michael. And I urge you, go follow him on Facebook, go follow him on Instagram. He has some books available. If you go to his website, you can check out all his information there. And you have a coaching course as well. Is that you do that for corporations or what is that? What is that?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm an ordinary bloke. I'm not a sales guy. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you to sign up to this and download that and make money in this and that. Like that's not me. I wrote this book, and I wrote it because I want to take care of my mum and my wife when I die, because when I wrote it, I was diagnosed with 4 more tumors a couple of years ago, and they said I wouldn't make Christmas. But I managed to get through that surgery, and I decided to donate every cent of profit from my books to charity. So all my audio books, all my books online, I don't take any profit from any of it. I donate it back. as I said, as you said in the intro, I've got an orphanage and a school in Haiti. We were told that we'd never be able to start a family because of my ongoing health challenges. For those that don't know the story, a quick recap: I was diagnosed at the age of 11 months with an incurable cancer of the central nervous system called neuroblastoma stage 4. They told me that, you know, I wouldn't make it to my first birthday, but they didn't realize that I had a mum that never wanted to quit on me, and she asked one simple question: I don't want to know what the chances are of my son dying. I just want to know what the chances are of my son surviving. The doctor said I had a 96% death rate. Go home. And she decided to look at my life being 4% full. I started chemo on my first birthday. Chemo cycle was 9 days on, 3 days off, 9 days on, 3 days off for nearly 2.5 years, until eventually they said the chemo was no longer working. The tumor had built a resistance. It took over half my body. It was the size of an NFL football. It had grown up into my aorta. It was crushing my spine. It was in my heart. They went into surgery. 6 hours later, they came out and said we couldn't get it all. There's nothing we can do. My family were flown down to the hospital to say goodbye. But the next day, there was an American doctor. He was trialing an experimental drug. He was going to trial it on 25 patients around the world. They had 24 candidates. Everybody on this drug needed to be terminally ill. And they asked whether we wanted to be number 25. And, you know, I really believe that outside of love, hope is the most powerful word in the English dictionary. If you can instill hope into somebody's life, it's remarkable what they can overcome. Long story short, we said yes, we signed up to that drug. Within 24 hours, we were all transferred from the oncology ward to the burns unit. The after effects of this drug were so bad that we were completely covered from head to toe in blisters. We were burning from the outside in, so they would wrap us up in bandages and they would lie us in baths full of ice, trying to prevent our brains from frying. But unfortunately, within 90 days, 24 out of the 25 of us that were on that drug had passed away. They died, they perished from that drug. And I say to people all around the world that I'm one of the lucky ones, but I never ever say I'm one of the lucky ones because I'm still alive. I say I'm one of the lucky ones because it wasn't my mum. You know, my mum had to go to death counselling once a week for 2 hours to deal with what was going to happen to a little boy. You know, she had to make a choice to inject a drug into a child that's killed every single person ever taken it. And we struggle to get out of bed some mornings because we're tired, because we're lazy, because we couldn't be bothered, because sometimes we perceive that life is not fair. You know, she burnt me for 18 months, hoping that one day I was allowed to go home. When I was finally allowed to go home, they said I'd never go to school, I'd never play sport, I'd be a housebound baby, and if I reached my teenage years, it would be a miracle. But we believed in miracles. You know, I graduated high school, I got a full-ride scholarship to live in America and play baseball down in Texas. I got told I'd never, you know, I'd be a housebound baby. In 2019, I was on 186 flights. I spoke in 22 countries around the world. I was away for 8 months. You know, they said I'd never be able to start a family, but in 2011, I started my own family with 44 beautiful kids in Haiti, being able to start an orphanage down there. And now I've got 270 kids at my school. And then in 2017, we were blessed with one of the greatest miracles of all, and that was after being told we'd never be able to have a family, we announced to the world that we were having a little baby. And unfortunately, our baby taught us some very valuable lessons very quickly. Our little boy was born 10 weeks premature with a horrible illness called sepsis. We were told that we would only have maybe 4 or 5 days with him. And we prepared his funeral, and we were ready to say goodbye. But he was not ready to say goodbye. And, you know, I learned such a powerful lesson in that period of darkness, and that was that it is so much easier lying in the bed than standing next to it. It was the first time in my life that I'd walked just a little part of that road that my mum has walked in. And right. It gave me such a greater renewed amount of love and admiration and respect for my family, for what the pain they went through as opposed to what I went through. But now, you know, he managed to fight. He managed to grip hold of every little thing he could. And now he's a healthy 3.5-year-old little boy, and he shits more than we can imagine. He eats more than we can imagine.
He did that on purpose, folks. And he broke the tension.
I know he did. Oh my God.
You can see the three of us were starting to well up, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are too. That was a good play, Mike. Good play.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, boys, we love him.
That's
we love
amazing.
him more than we could ever imagine, and it's like another little human running around on this planet with my heart in his body, and I am eternally grateful for this incredible gift and this amazing blessing. And then in January this year, we were blessed with another little miracle, and now we've got a beautiful little girl. And she's going to be a royal pain in the ass when she gets older. I can feel it already. You know, I love her to bits, but my God, I'm going to start planting cactuses outside the window because she looks a little bit like my wife. And there's an Australian saying, it's called punching above your weight, meaning that you're an ugly bloke, but you've got a really good looking wife. And that's the category that I fall into. So I don't want no boys coming around hanging out with my daughter when she gets a little older. So cactuses, bars on the window, she's all that outside. I think I might get her to join a nunnery or something. She ain't going next to rough heads like Jeff and Ben.
Thank you. The positive thing about that is that she has an older brother.
Yes, she does. She does, and that's a blessing.
Wow. So you hear all that, people. There's no more pity pots for me out there.
Nope.
They don't exist.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I knew a little bit about that story because I did my research before I reached out back in March when we first made connection back in March about the show. But so, yeah, I mean, I'm speechless. I am really speechless, and that's hard to do. Ask Jeff. Ask Leo. Ask my wife. Right? It's hard. It's hard to get me to. And you did. Yeah, I mean, the story is just. Yeah, it's. I don't have any words for it. Leo, you were gonna say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna make a stupid joke about trying to keep people away from your daughter. If you're in Australia, you have deadly animals there. Just fill your yard with the, like spiders and snakes. That.
Mate, we don't have to fill our backyards, mate. They're already filled. Like we don't need it. It's funny because I've got a big scar on my stomach from where I got the cancer cut out, and so when I lived in America, I lived in Texas. I played baseball down there, and like some Texans, I'm not saying all Texans, I'm not throwing everybody in the same category, but some Texans that I met when I was there were not the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like
that's all across this country, dude. It's not just Texas.
Well, it was funny because I had this impression that they thought that Texas was like its own country. And I remember getting a burger, and I went out and said, "Can I get a steak sandwich and some water, please?" And he's like, "Whoa, slow down." He said, "Where are y'all from?" And I was confused because I was there by myself. I had no idea who y'all was because it's just me. I said, "Oh, mate, I'm from Australia." And he goes, "Australia, huh? What state is Australia in?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it's a bloody giant country on the other side of the world that's bigger than Texas, okay? It's in fact the same size as America. It just doesn't have as many people and doesn't fly as many flags as you guys do." But when I was there, I got a big scar on my stomach from where the cancer got cut out. I used to tell the girls that it was from a mistimed jump off a paddle boat that had me land on a crocodile's tail out in the water. They dead set would believe me. So I went from this skinny little freckly-faced baseball kid in Australia to this crocodile wrestling beast in America. Like, it was amazing over there. You could tell them anything and they would believe you. It was awesome. But as you know, that's I was only there for 6 months before I suffered my second major heart attack, and my career was over. I never played baseball again. I came back to Australia. I got into the corporate world. I worked my way up into a senior executive role in banking, had 600 staff, and then in 2010, I got sick again, bacterial meningitis, got fluid on the brain, had Bell's palsy, had to learn to walk again and talk again. And as you boys know, that was a time in my life where I decided to walk away from chasing money and chasing materialistic wealth, and replace it with the desire and the passion to chase happiness and service. And that's when I got into the speaking world, opened up the school, the orphanage, and really had a passion and a burning desire in my heart to not only leave a legacy, but live into my legacy whilst I was here, trying to make the world just a little bit better place.
Absolutely.
All right. Can you do me a favor? One of the things that I watched, you were talking about what is success. What is your view of what success is?
Yeah, I really had to nail that down, because over that transition period, I went from living in a multi-million-dollar house to $100,000 sports cars and Rolexes and Armani suits, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. You know, we live in an incredible home now. We just moved in 8 weeks ago into our dream home. But back then, I was driven by that because I wanted to prove to other people that I was worthy of it, because I lacked self-worth. And I did it to make myself look bigger and better than what I really was. Now, no one, you know, as Leo said, he follows me on Instagram. You might see a little back shot of our kitchen in one of our photos, or, you know, us playing on the day swing out the front. But I'm never going to do a flyover and show people our house. I'm not going to show you the cars that we own. Like that, when I drive down to the restaurants back in the day when I was allowed to go to restaurants, we'd park 2 streets back because I don't want people to see what car I'm driving. Whereas back in the day, I'd do 10 laps in the main street trying to find a park out the cafe's door so that everybody could see what car I was driving. I was driven by ego and arrogance. I was driven by the 3 Ps that destroy people: power, privileges, and possessions. And then when you get it stripped away, you know, when you're healthy, you have hundreds of dreams and goals in your life. But when you're sick, you have one dream. And that's just simply to get healthy. And sometimes we need to get to that point where everything gets stripped away and we just take it away from everything that we perceive as important, to finally get clarity and understanding what's truly important. And those were the 2 things. I need to understand what success was. I need to understand what giving was. Now I understand. Giving is, the saying should be for giving is, we must give without remembering and receive without forgetting. That is the whole notion of service. And then the second one, for success, I thought it was about the materialistic possessions that I could gain. But now I understand success is about getting out of bed every single day and knowing in my heart that I can make a difference in somebody else's life. That's it. That is my notion of success. It's not about how big my house is, how big my car is. It's about how big my heart is. It's about getting out of bed and knowing that I can impact somebody else's life every day, whether it's sending a nice text message, whether it's pushing someone's shopping cart back, whether it's paying for somebody's coffee, doing something for somebody else, not for getting a pat on the back, just because we want to do something for somebody else.
It could be as simple as being there when somebody needs to talk.
Amen to that, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen. Leo.
Yes, sir.
We only have this gentleman for 45 to 50 minutes tonight.
Yep.
So I know we have to do commercial break. So let's just run Prospector, please.
Okay, sounds good. So you know what time it is. It's you know, we have an awesome sponsor, the Prospect Theater, and I'm going to play that link in a second. But you know, a lot of good movies coming out, and you know what? Where's the damn button? Where's the damn button, Ben?
I don't know. It's next to the bananas.
Well, here it is.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
If you're looking for something to watch, Free Guys out, Candyman just came out, and Shang-Chi is this weekend. Shang-Chi.
Is it Chung-Chi or is it Chung-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Shung. It's Shung, not Chung.
It's the next Marvel movie.
See what I have to put up with?
Man, it sounds like something that you eat like at a Chinese restaurant. I'll take a serving of fried rice and some sung chi on the side, please.
or the next day. That fried rice really gave me the sung chi.
Oh, jeez.
I woke up this morning and my rice turned into Shang-Chi. It was nasty.
Right?
Okay, I got to remember that one.
That was good. That was good.
Wow.
So Leo touched at the beginning of the show about you being an award-winning author, and you have multiple books and multiple audiobooks out. Is there anyone in particular that strikes you as something that somebody should read first?
Yeah, this is the one that I'm most proud of. This is the full story, the full gamut. And it gives everybody the full lowdown of my life from front to back, and all the nasty stuff that we've done and experienced, and the pain and the highs and the lows and the good stuff and the bad stuff and everything in between. You know, I'm really proud of what's been created there, and obviously the impact that that's had on others, because you know, we've been able to make such an impact with the sponsors, with all the money going to charity as opposed to lacing our back pockets with money. And I think that for me is so important, because I think so many people nowadays, they write a book because they want to get rich. You know, they write a book because they want to make more money. Whereas I wrote a book because I wanted to leave a legacy, and I wrote a book because I wanted to leave an impact. So that's really cool. Like, I'm really proud of that. But a few of the audio books now have gone nuts. They've gone really crazy, because it's all around the power of the mind. You know, 3 steps to personal transformation. All those things are, I think, really important about getting a daily routine, structured daily routine, and understanding, you know, we have 80,000 thoughts a day, and 70% of them are negative in a normal human being. So we have 56,000 negative thoughts a day. What's incredible, though, is we actually have the ability not only to reduce the amount of thoughts we have each day, but we also have the ability to reduce the percentage of negativity that we have each day. And then we wonder why people that have been to hell and back, that have gone through so much pain and adversity, seem to shine brightly with optimism and resilience, because many of those understand the power and the importance of mindset and the tools that can actually assist us. You know, I've been lucky enough to work with, you know, some of the highest paid athletes on the planet, been lucky enough to work with, you know, don't throw anything at me, I'm glad I'm on this side, but I've done, you know, some work with the Blue Jays, the Mets, the Padres. I've worked with Mike Trout. You know, I've been very lucky to work with some really amazing people and athletes and teams. And I've worked with the top 100 CEOs, and they understand the importance and the power of the mind, you know, and we don't need to be a rocket scientist to implement the strategies that can actually assist us greatly in being more optimistic and more resilient. There's a great segment around the chemical hacking. Like, we have the ability to self-identify how we're feeling about a particular situation, and then go out and implement some strategies to induce the chemicals that our body is lacking to make us feel better about the situation. I think, you know, that old cliche saying, our body has limitations, but our mind does not. And when we master that, it's amazing the quality of life that we get to live. You know, we got one shot, guaranteed everybody watching this is going to die. You know, no question.
Right.
But it's about what we do whilst we're here. And, you know, I want to make sure I do as much as I can to impact as many people as I can, and be, you know, I want to be a great dad. You know, I want to be a great husband. I want to be a great man. And, you know, I want to inspire people to lead a better life.
Well, I know you inspired these 3 right here.
I was just going to say, I literally was just going to say that. Not just these 3, but I'm sure that he's inspired well more than that tonight, just through the video broadcast. And then people that are going to listen to this later on, you know, on all the podcast platforms. But, you know, we urge you to definitely follow Michael, check out his social media. You know, you're going to find a story or a speaking that he's done that's definitely going to touch you. Definitely going to touch you.
Yeah.
And everybody likes to be touched.
You know, I'm just saying, mine was ridiculousness. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just throwing that up.
Or just, subscribe to his Instagram and get his, his regular feeds of positivity. We can all use a little bit more positivity in our lives. For someone that may need help in changing their life to look more positive, where is someplace or what's something that they can do to start the ball rolling?
I think that it's really important that you get great clarity and understanding what you want in your life. You really have, there's only two types of people in the world. There are those who use the pain of their past to justify their failures. And there are those that use the exact same pain and suffering as the motivation to succeed. And I think it's just your choice, what type of life you want to live. I have 3 older sisters, all married, all divorced, all unemployed, all drink, all smoke, all covered in tattoos, all live on welfare, and they think their life is not fair. And they hate the fact that their brother has done something with his life. They've used the pain of watching me go through what I went through as the justification behind why they've made really bad choices. Whereas I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure that if I die tomorrow, I've been given so many end dates that I want to make sure that I fill up every second that I have been blessed with on this earth to enjoy every single moment. I have great faith, and that faith has given me great courage and great strength to be able to get through those challenging and dark times in my life. But I really think firstly it's about making the choice that, you know what, hey, I don't want to live this type of life anymore. And the second step is, for me, is, understanding that you have such power and strength in that mind. And when you begin to understand it, even meditation, I thought that meditation was for hippies, for people that drove big vans and wore cotton, that had giant beards, that never worked a day in their life. And now I understand meditation is one thing that pro athletes and top CEOs around the world have in common. I understand that by slowing down and silencing the voices in your head, we can really get through some things. And perspective, I'd love to share a quick funny story, and I hope that it translates from English into American, because I know that you guys speak a little funny over there. But and I know America speaks English, just before you think I'm completely an idiot. I understand that. I just thought I'd throw it in there. That's a bit of Australian humor, because sometimes when Ben, you talk, I really need to listen. I need to focus, because you speak with a pretty solid husky accent, and Leo, you just sound like you're like just a computer, just just on the butt. And Jeff, you just seem like you want to go to the bar and have a whiskey and shoot some pool. So fun guys, fun boys. But the story goes is I was in hospital, and there was a little boy next to me, and he had a big smile on his face. How the curtains, I've been to many hospitals in America too. Curtains aren't long enough between you and the bed next to you, right?
Right.
So I'm lying there, and I can see this little boy, and I'm like, man, he looks like he's having a good time. Yeah. My problem must be a lot worse than his. And if it's not worse than his, I want whatever drugs they're feeding him, because this kid looked like he was having a blast, right? So he's got a big smile on his face, and then I hear the nurse walk in. She pulled the sheet back. She's like, oh my God, that's terrible. What happened? So like all of us, right? I was hanging out of bed to try and find out what was going on. And this little boy, he's like 8 years old. He's like, man, I was riding my motorbike, and I was cruising through the bush, and as I went around the corner, I fell off, and this stick got jammed right up into my leg. He says, but it's okay, it could be worse. And I'm like, what do you mean it could be worse? And the nurse says, what do you mean it could be worse? You've got a stick in your leg. You're going to be on crutches. You're going to have surgery. You can't go swimming. How could it possibly be worse? And I kid you not, this sweet little boy with a massive smile on his face says, nurse, promise you, it could be worse. The stick could have got me in the balls.
Right?
I can just imagine the father saying to the son in the car, hey, son, quit your whinging. The stick could have got in the balls. And straight away, just shut up. I can't help myself. I think about it all the time now. All the time. If I'm driving to the office, if I'm driving to the post office, someone cuts me off, I get the red light, I think to myself straight away, Could be worse. Could have a stick in my balls. And straight away, I don't care the fact that I've just been cut off, sideswiped, or got a red light. And same deal to your question, Leo. Like, sometimes it's just something so simple as a phrase of could be worse, could have a stick in my balls, to shift your mindset and your paradigm and your outlook to say, you're right. That'd be really shitty. Life could be a lot worse. So let's make the choice to step forward in life and go and lead a better one.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow. So I know
Awesome.
I know I'm going to hear that phrase every time that we travel.
I can just
Stick
I
up
can
for the
just see,
window that says that.
Right?
or you could do it the other way. You know, it could be Jeff threatening you. Do you want to stick in the balls?
No, see, you've never been on a car ride with Jeff where, because of everything that we do, going down to New York and all the events and stuff, he's got to triple dose his CBD oil just so I can drive with him. Because he comes up on somebody in the fast lane and he's like, it's the fast lane. I'm really going to look at him and go, could be worse. You're going to have a stick in your balls.
It'll probably help.
It might save an accident, Jeff. So that'll
Right?
be beautiful, man. That'll be beautiful.
So I know we have to let you go, but we are. I see. I'm still speechless by your story, man. Wow. We're so blessed that you were able to join us this morning from your side, and this evening from our side, and from wherever when you're listening to this. Apparently, Leo. On that stick in the balls note, why don't you go ahead and unless you got more that you'd like to say, Michael.
Jeff, I just want to say, you know, your patience and persistence was admirable. You know, I get asked to do these things all the time, and you know, I challenge myself on a day-to-day basis to ensure that my son never sees me on the phone. I never want to see my son watch me on Facebook, on Instagram, posting, sending emails. I want my son to know that he's the most important person in the world.
Right.
And I never want him to feel as though anything else like a phone is more important. You know, we look at our phones more than 600 times a day. How can we be present? How can we be still? How can we serve those that love us the most? Because those that love us the most are those that we hurt the most. And, you know, I try and instill the 3 Ps in my son, my daughter, and that is patience, persistence, and perspective. And if you weren't so persistent and patient back in March, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You know, I was in the middle of a crazy journey over here with the borders opened up and being able to travel again and travel in the countryside speaking. And then June, snap lockdown, haven't left the house since first week in June. And, you know, now I'm getting this opportunity to be with you boys. So, you know, Jeff, appreciate it. Leo and Jeff, Ben, I appreciate it, but Jeff and Leo, I appreciate you guys putting this stuff together, and hopefully, you know, we can impact and inspire some people. I got a letter a long time ago, and it'd be kind of a nice way to finish up. I got a letter. I was asked to do a gig in Colorado, back over where you guys are in the States, and I don't know why. I was really busy, but I just said, you know, suck it up, let's go, because it's a long way, 14, 15 hours to get to LA, and then longer to get to Colorado and back. And I remember doing a talk, and then I got back, and about 40 days later, I got a letter in the mail. And like, you never get letters in mail anymore, but managed to get some letters. And one of them said, it said, I used the rope to play tug of war. And I was really fascinated by that caption at the beginning, and I started reading, and it was about this young girl that was in the audience, you know, quite a large lady, and she'd gone to hell and back. You know, her stepfather had raped her, and she had told her mother, and her mother thought as though she was lying so that they would separate. And so the mother kicked her out of the house. And so the morning of the conference, she decided to go to the hardware store down the road from the hotel and buy a whole heap of rope. And she went back into the room, and unfortunately she was doing what you can imagine she was doing. She was tying it up and making a noose. And then a lady knocked on the door and said, "Hey, we've got that guy from Australia speaking this morning. You got to come down." She's like, "Nah, I'm too tired. I don't want to go. And the lady was persistent. And she said, you know, you need to come down. He didn't fly all the way over here because you're tired. So get your butt down there. And she heard the story, and then she's a really heavy lady. So she decided to go back to the room, untie the rope, take it downstairs, and start a game of tug of war. And everyone wanted her in their team because she was the anchor. She was the heavyweight that was at the end of the rope holding to help her team win. And I think that there's so much in that story, but the underlying message to me is, you know, we all have a beautiful gift. God has given us an amazing talent, whether it is a great listener, whether it's a great speaker, whether it's a great author, whether it's an anchor in a game of tug of war. We all have a gift. We all have an incredible ability. And the more that we can just acutely be aware and focus on the great things that we do hold and allow us to really nurture those gifts as opposed to focusing on all the things that are our flaws, I think that's when we can really become an even better version of ourselves. So, you know, I challenge every one of you, delve deep, you know, dive into that world of self-assessment and identify what is it that tickles your buttons? What is it that serves you and drives you and gives you excitement about life? And then invest energy, time, love, and nurture that gift so that you can go and share it with others, so you can impact others. Because as I said earlier, when you can impact others, that is the definition of being successful, when you can make an impact in other people's lives. So, you know, I challenge every one of you to do something that your future self will be proud of. And the last saying that I really love is that through great darkness, that is our discovery moment. We do not discover how unfair our life is, but rather we discover how powerful we have been created. Sometimes we need to go to hell and back to discover how powerful we are. And if you're in that hellhole, you're in that dark spot, dig deep, look around, realize how powerful you are, and get out of the shade and back into the sunshine. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Thank you, man. Totally awesome. Totally awesome.
I'll take us out. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening, and I have a new phrase: tickle my buttons.
It's better than sticking the balls.
Yeah. Definitely, I urge you to check out Michael's stuff. I got information and show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Truly inspirational. You know, if you're looking for, you know, that positivity or, you know, just a little light in your life, you know, definitely check them out. Like I said, all the information is in the show notes, along with our sponsors and everything like that. And for me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. I run the Dorkening Podcast Network, and you know, about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome stuff. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And Jeffrey,
Leo, he has you choked up.
He does. Very,
yeah,
very,
he does.
I was going to go back to Michael, but I think he stepped away from his camera.
I'm here.
I'm
here.
There he is.
Michael, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
Well, I have a very large following on Facebook until about 6 days ago when I got hacked through my wife's account. And so now I've lost all of those followers. But again, could be worse. Could have a stick in my balls, so I don't really care. So I'm all about Instagram right now. So if you're on socials, jump on Instagram, and love to have a chat. But as I said, boys, appreciate you having me on. I got to fly. I got a little boy.
Okay, we'll let you go.
Daddy. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
You well. Jeffrey.
I learned something last week. You can actually Google me. I do exist. Leo, prove that to me. I was like, wow, that was awesome. So it made me feel a lot better. So go ahead, Google me.
Awesome. There we go.
Appreciate that. But go to stilltoking.com. That's where you'll find all our crap, all our stuff, everything that we're doing. And maybe in the future, there'll be a stick in the balls. We'll find out.
Okay. Or tickle your buttons.
Tickle your buttons.
You know how we have Tickle Me Emma? We need Tickle Your Buttons, Jeffrey.
Tickle your buttons.
Actually, I saw a T-shirt. It was a It was an Elmo doll with a big giant mustache, and it said, "I'll tickle you."
I bet Bill could make a tickle your buttons, Jeffrey.
He could definitely make a tickle your buttons, Jeffrey, or a stick in the balls, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You'd be more like Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
No. That's a stick in the butt.
Or the balls, whatever.
Oh no, big difference.
It could be worse. Hey,
it could be worse.
It could be worse. Oh man, what a great show.
Yeah,
truly inspirational. We urge you to check out Michael on all the social media. You know, usually the guest is still here, but like he said, family's the most important thing. And his son was waiting for him, so that's how it goes. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day, so people like us can come up here and do what we do every day. We'll see you next week. Oh, actually, no, we won't. We will not see you next week.
No, I'm on vacation.
Leo is on vacation next week, so we'll have a rebroadcast running. I'm not sure what the mastermind will put up there, but he will have something. We'll see you in 2 weeks with a kick-ass gross show called Michiganja Misfits. So you're not going to want to miss that. We also got Ant Williams coming on this month and Joel Soyson. I think I pronounced that right. But, you know, these are shows just like tonight that you're not going to want to miss. So
keep up. And if you're in the Virginia area next weekend, look us up at Tidewater Horror Convention. We will be there all weekend.
Shit, we forgot all about that. Leo, before we leave, do we have the King Sumo leak? Do we have the contest that we can show?
Oh, that's right. We're giving away tickets to the Tidewater.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
Do you have it available? If not, they can go to our page because I posted it.
Yeah, it is. It's on the page. So
it's on the page. Also, I'm going to put it in the comments. Contests for everybody watching right now, going in the comments. There we go.
Yes, that'll run for the next, I believe, 5 days or 4 days or something like that. And we're going to pick 3 winners and give them a pair of weekend passes.
So you're giving away 6 tickets to 3 people, 2 tickets per person.
That's what I said.
That's right.
I'm just
clarifying.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Yes.
3 winners, 2 tickets apiece equals 29.
And that's the math for you. he must be in the future as well. Yeah. So we're out of here. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Peace.
Now I need to find the button again. Catch
that one.
Bye.
So come on.